Okay, Rip Gym shoulder day. Cannonball delts, how are they coming? I'll tell you how. We're going to start with a lateral raise. So we can use dumbbells. Now these are often done wrong, and they're easy to do wrong because you end up using your traps. So you end up shrugging it up, lifting the weights up, but with your traps. And we want to work this outer head of your shoulder or your medial head. So it's taking the dumbbell as wide as you can without engaging your traps. Now if you're one of these trappy people, like a pun, right? If you're one of them trappy people, what you need to do is feel like you're pushing the dumbbells as far to the side as you can, keeping your shoulders actually quite soft and almost like floppy before you start. So no one likes anything floppy, but in this case, you might need to have a floppy one before you start. Otherwise, if you're stiff, you end up engaging your traps because you're so stiff and too tensed up. So make sure you rest it up and you're nice and floppy before you start. Now you're pushing the dumbbells out to the side. I'm going to show you how it should look, and then my good friend Robbie's going to show you how it's often done wrong. Okay, so my shoulders are relaxed. They're not tense, they're relaxed, and I'm pushing the dumbbells out to the side. Now, if you get it right, you should find that your shoulders and the side of your shoulders really start to burn. If you want to make it more intensive, have a slight pause for a second at this position and don't allow it to touch your legs. So that'll keep the tension on. So pause, back down to your legs, then straight back up, pause, back down to your legs. If you're resting on your legs, you're getting a little breather between every rep. So keep the intensity up, keep the time under tension on your shoulder. Okay, so this is how it's often seen in the gym. The dumbbells aren't coming out the side of his legs, they're coming out in front to get momentum to swing it up. And then because he's so tense, it's all here. You can see it on the traps here as he's pulling it up. There's a lot of body movement, and really the weight should be coming out directly from the side of your legs. If they're not, and you can't keep them to the side, it's too heavy. So the second exercise we're going to do today, and I recommend you do these early in your shoulder workout. You're going to use dumbbells today. You can use a pec deck machine if you've got one, but rear delts are hugely important to make your shoulder pop, to get them cannonball delts. Make sure you train your rear delts. Loads of people don't train them, or they leave them to the end of the workout when they're exhausted and they've got no power, no strength. What I'd rather you guys do is leave the press until last and put your effort into these smaller movements. So we're going to do rear delts now with a dumbbell. The key here is keeping your body still, being horizontal to the floor and just moving your arms out to the side. Now the key to getting this right and keeping it on the rear delt is to move your hands in line with your eyes. So you feels like you're taking the dumbbells up and in line with your face. Now when people go too heavy, they swing it up, but they'll also come backwards. They come backwards. And what that does, it shortens the range, so you get a lot less tension on the rear delt. You also engage your tricep to help you get it up. So we need to keep it strict. You need to stay flat to the floor and bring the dumbbell slightly forward when doing so. So this is how it should look. So you're bent over nice and flat, your bum's out, your back's flat, and the only thing that moves is the dumbbells up in line with your face. Now it's quite a small movement and it's very easy to get wrong. Robbie's going to show you how to get it wrong, and what most people do is they bend the elbow too much and they pull it back rather than take it forward, and even more so they might move their body in doing so. So that is very typical of what you see in the gym for rear delts, but how much is hitting that tiny part of the back of the shoulder and how much is the rest of his body working? Probably quite a lot. Okay, so we're on the shoulder press. Now this is probably everyone's go-to when they train shoulders, they just press. Now we're doing it third in the day, so that our shoulders are pre-exhausted already from the sides and the rears. So when you press, you might not be quite as strong, but you're gonna feel it all in the shoulders, especially in these two areas you've already trained. So the key here is to keep your bum your lower bum pushed right back into the pad, so you are very upright and you get a full range of motion. So a little pause, and I would say to people, bring the bar down just in line with your nose or under it, so that you're in this position from the start before you push up. And don't lock your elbows at the top. So where people go too heavy, they don't get a full range of motion, so they only do the top part of the movement, and they tend to lock at the top to give their shoulders a rest. We want constant tension. So remember, like in the chest day, we do about 3/4 of the way up, so it keeps the tension on the shoulder. Now this is what it should look like. Okay, so now Robbie's going to jump in and show you how it's typically done wrong, which is not getting enough range and locking the elbows at the top to get a breather. Now, if you look in your gym at home, you probably see a lot of people do this because the weight's so heavy, they're just doing such a short movement. Exercise 4. Smiling because I'm almost finished. Now, exercise 4 is traps. Now we're going to use a shrug. You could use an upright row. They both hit your traps. We're going to do a shrug. Now I see this so many times, people trying to injure themselves by rolling their shoulders, doing this rolly motion, thinking they're doing something. A shrug is a real simple thing. You literally shrug your shoulders up to your ears. It's that movement. If you want to make it more valuable and extend it, you can bring your chin down to your chest, and it allows you to shrug a lot higher. So try that at home, but to really intensify it, what I would like you to all try and do is a 3-second descent. So right up and then slow, slow, slow into the stretch, all the way up, slow, 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 and you'll find that your traps really, really burn. Do not roll your shoulders. So this is how it should look. Pretty simple, and it is simple, but so many people don't do the simple thing right, and they end up rolling their shoulders, and it ends up with rotator injuries. So this is what you see often in the gym, and if you turn to the side, Rob, and carry on, you see this movement. People think they're going to get more out of it by rolling back, and all you're doing is going to cause your rotator cuff, which is in your shoulder, a lot of stress by holding on that weight and grinding it round in circles. So don't do that at home.